WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. Well, you are about midway through the first quarter of the 2022-2023 school year. I have Nokomis Superintendent Dr. Scott Dewar on the phone. Great to have you here, Dr. Dewar.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Avery.
Did I get that right? About halfway through the first quarter?
We are.
Yeah. Well, how's it been so far?
Well, we're getting settled in. Teachers are working well with the kids. The kids are getting back into their routines. We have our beginning of the year assessments completed, and those came out really well. We were very pleased with the learning that the kids had retained over the summer. And I think that also has contributed to the summer school program and the after school program that we've been having for about 2 years now. And so things are working well.
So to summarize that part of it, you are seeing results from those programs that you've instituted over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I mean, we do a 4-week, 20 days of summer school, which not only concentrates on learning loss, but also concentrates on enrichment for kids. So for those kids that are at grade level or above, we are able to provide them with enrichment activities and new learning skills and projects. Right now at the elementary school, we have about 75 kids staying after school for the after school program, where they get help on homework. They can do enrichment activities and STEM projects. They have recreation and snack breaks. They're here till about 5 o'clock, and we're seeing some really good progress out of those kiddos.
It sounds like it's more than your standard summer school, after school, where you are required because you're not doing well. This sounds like it's something that they can do because they want to.
Yeah, it really is. It's not a requirement. It's open to all of our students, and they can take advantage of it if they want. We have about 25 at the junior high even that are taking advantage of it and getting help if they need assistance with math or science or reading or anything like that. And the teachers really engage them. We kind of came up with the idea a couple years ago about turning this into more of a camp style program rather than a remediation program.
And sounds like that's gone pretty well.
It is. It's going well. We were very pleased with the results.
What were some of the things that you were looking for on the back to school assessment?
Well, obviously in our back to school assessments, we look at kids that may have fallen behind over the summer, maybe took some learning loss over the summer. We were pleased with the results. We had less than 5% of our kids that showed really any significant learning loss. So they're able to not only attend the after school programs, but we have programs during the day that they can participate in to make up and gain and regain that learning loss. And we're very confident that those few kids that we have by the winter assessments, which will be in December, January, we'll have made up most of that loss. So I think our kids are doing an absolutely fabulous job. Our teachers and our aides are, volunteering to work with these kids after school. And, we're just seeing some awesome return on investment there.
What were your expectations for the start of school assessment given the last couple of years? You sound pleasantly surprised.
I'm not, I'm very happy about everything. I think, with the COVID and the shutdown that took place, we were prepared to see some learning loss take place, especially for those 3 months that we were remote. And so, we've really changed a lot of things. We've changed our curriculum for this year in English language arts, and having the teachers dive more into the learning process and assessments to, track the way our kids are learning, because, generations change on how kids learn. So we have to learn with them, and we have to teach towards their learning styles. So you're always kind of weary about, coming into the beginning of the year and seeing, was there any summer loss? How well did we do the previous year in preparing these kids for the next grade level? And, you always have that sense that there's going to be, a percentage of kids, 15, 20% of kids that are going to, take a little bit of a dive down in their academic needs. And with the assessments that we've seen so far, those have been just awesome. The kids have really retained information. The teachers are teaching in new styles and new methodologies to meet their needs, and I'm just totally happy with all of our staff and our kiddos.
How does this Nokomis School District define learning loss over the summer? I know that every student's going to miss a little bit of stuff, but what do you
Sure.
define as learning loss?
Well, assessments are based on norms that are usually nationally normed assessments. So we look at grade level equivalency. So a kiddo that comes into, let's say, the third grade, we expect to see them when they do their fall assessments, which are usually the end of August, the 1st of September, to be at the third grade level. If they come in at the end of second grade, maybe seventh month or eighth month, they've lost a little. And then we kind of compare that to their spring assessments, where they were in the second grade, if you will, and say, okay, was there a gain or was there a learning loss as a result of, the summer break? So it's all about the data, right? It shows us where they ended up in second grade and where they're beginning in the third grade. And if they're not at the grade level, then we provide interventions for those kiddos to make sure that they're getting some research-based methodology to regain the skills they may have lost. And sometimes that takes 6 weeks. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, right? It just depends on the kid because each kid is different. So, we provide our title services, which is through our federal title grants in math and reading. Then we have the after school program, and then we have other programs throughout the day that kids, through our RTI process, which is response to intervention, where kids can get small group or individual help with teachers or aides to relearn or reteach the skills they may have lost.
What can you say about those volunteering in after school or even those summer programs?
You know what? These our teachers and our aides and everyone involved in our programs have really stepped up. I know the last 2.5 years have been crazy for everyone, having to learn, not only to teach in the classroom, but to teach online. And people get burned out, unfortunately. But these teachers of ours and our aides have really stepped up to make sure that they're doing what is right for the kids. And that's what I'm most proud of about our faculty and staff.
Actually, that's a pretty good note to end on. Let's go ahead and take a quick break here, Dr. Dewar. That's Superintendent Dr. Scott Dewar of Nokomis School District. More from him after this short timeout. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust. They put people first.
WTIM. It's a weekend full of chili and fun on the Table Square.
Hi, I'm Linda Allen, Executive Director of the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Mackenzie Sneed, Chili Fest Guest Services.
And we're here to invite you to a weekend packed full of food and fun at our annual Chili Fest this Saturday and Sunday. 2 days of International Chili Society judging, Chili Fest chili to buy hot or cold, entertainment on 2 stages on the square, pageants and vendors in Kids Zone, and so much more.
Join us this Saturday and Sunday for 2 days of fun at this weekend's Greater Taylorville Chamber Chili Fest on the Table Square.
Today, I want to talk about a very specific soybean. It's an Enlist E3 soybean, but not just any Enlist E3 soybean. Let me pull over. I'm at a Pioneer test plot near Portageville, Missouri. This field is dedicated to studying new Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans. What makes these soybeans special? Because instead of the standard germplasm that is in most Enlist E3 soybeans, Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans have exclusive and elite germplasm. Obviously, when we're talking about germplasm, you can't see that with the naked eye. That's why Pioneer has test plots like this one all over the country to see how their exclusive germplasm performs in the real world. And so far, their performance is impressive. Strong yield potential and great agronomic characteristics impressive. From their DNA in the lab to their health in the field, Pioneer brand A-Series Enlist E3 soybeans are literally like no other.
Hi, this is Jared White, host of Central Illinois Outdoors, inviting you to find us on the internet. We are up and running at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. You can jump on there to find our Catch of the Week segment. Also, our archive shows. After they air on the weekend, you can find them every Monday at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. So listen when you can. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Central Illinois Outdoors. Central Illinois Outdoors on Facebook or at centralillinoisoutdoors.com. We'll see you there.
If you're craving that pumpkin spice flavor this time of year, your farmer-owned dairy, Prairie Farms Dairy, has just the ticket. Right now, you'll find Prairie Farms Dairy pumpkin spice-flavored milk that provides the protein you and your family needs. And oh, does it taste good. As the leaves fall and the seasons change, enjoy Prairie Farms Dairy pumpkin spice-flavored milk, available in your grocer or convenience store's dairy case. Another protein-packed product from the farm families of Prairie Farms Dairy.
I'm Kim Bourne, CEO of Taylorville Memorial Hospital, and we're hiring experienced nurses to join our great team. Learn more by clicking on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
The Christian County Economic Development Corporation helps Taylorville, Pana, and other local communities establish and promote their industrial parks, providing constant communication with existing and prospective employers, helping to grow or attract businesses. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube, brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I have Superintendent of Nokomis School District, Dr. Scott Dewar, on the phone. It's great to have you here, Dr. Dewar.
Yep, thank you, Avery. I appreciate it.
Yeah, something you mentioned in the first segment is how you went, and by you, I mean Nokomis School District, went through a bit of a change in curriculum involving your English language arts. Could you detail that for me?
Sure. We took an entire school year last year and formed a committee of K through 12 teachers and administrators to sit down and look at our data in English language arts. And our data was not bad, but we knew we had a couple gaps. One of those gaps was in writing. So we met several times, did a lot of research on curriculum and how that impacts our students and where we could fill in those gaps. So after about 9 months of meeting, talking to different companies and sales reps and things like that, and doing research on best practices, we had decided to move forward with a new ELA curriculum that was not only reading intense, but also included the grammar and the vocabulary and the spelling and, of course, the writing aspect of it. So then we were able to get the teachers professional development over the summer on how to implement the new programs, and now they're off and going. And even the initial feedback after the first month, from the teachers is going well. So I'm glad to hear that, and we'll do some follow-up professional development with them on one of their institute days coming up. And we took in a big investment of dollars and said, this is what the kids need, and this is what's best for our students. So we're doing good.
Good to hear. Well, obviously your research led to those changes. Could you name something in that research that you found that you thought, wow, that's pretty interesting?
To determine that we needed a new curriculum, I think that research was based on kids' ability to, write both argumentative and other assessments or other forms of writing. We just saw a gap there in the classroom and the products that were being created for that. Of course, we use MAP assessments, which is a nationally normed assessment, and our local assessments to make that determination that we do have a gap here, and then we're curriculum mapping. So we're mapping out our entire curriculum K through 12 and trying to match that up with the state standards, and then say, okay, where are gaps in the standards? And this is where we can fill them in at. So as we now map our new curriculum, we can say, okay, now we're meeting those standards, and we're getting the kids the skills they need according to the state of Illinois.
Anything else that you'd like to include about curriculum changes that you've made over the summer, Dr. Dewar?
No, we kept pretty much everything the same. We did do a math upgrade. Our math curriculum through Eureka Math had an upgrade. So we did make that switch over, but it's basically the same curriculum, just with some new features to it and more interventions for kids that struggle in that aspect of it, or for our population of kids that have disabilities. And we're seeing some good, stuff come out of that as well. So, besides that and the vocational programs that we talked about last month, we're seeing a lot of good things come out of Nokomis for kids.
Something that you and me haven't really talked about a lot, electronics. Could you inform me what your electronics policy is for all students?
So we are a one-to-one school, so every student has a Chromebook for learning. And then, of course, the big things are cell phones. Every kid, some as low as second and third graders have cell phones. And we do have a no cell phone policy in the classroom. Kids can bring their phones into the building. They have to be in their lockers during the day, turned off or put on silent. And they're just simply not allowed in the classroom at this time. And I think that's going well. We've had that policy for 2 or 3 years now. I think the kids are used to it. They can take their phones down with them to lunch if they want to, hop on and, text mom and dad, or text boyfriend or girlfriend, or play a game or something like that. And then they go right back in their lockers. So, we don't have a lot of disciplinary actions so far this year regarding cell phones. So, I think it's a learned behavior at some point.
Of course. Well, as a school administrator and educator and all that business, is there a platform out there right now that concerns you?
Well, you always have negative things on social media.
Of course.
That's going to be our biggest issue is curbing, trying to curb cyberbullying on social media, which, is a big thing these days, unfortunately. So we try to take a proactive approach to that. And, through our character education program, we teach about bullying and cyberbullying and how to handle that and deal with it, and make sure that they, tell an adult, tell a teacher, tell an administrator, a principal, what's going on, so we can kind of nip that in the bud early and provide some, lessons on how to, kind of curb that down.
As an educator, what's your take on TikTok?
I think I think everything has a potential for a learning use, right? Mm-hmm. I know teachers that have TikTok accounts that put awesome things on TikTok, right? They put lessons or they, talk about what happened in their day, and it's good to have that kind of reflection. But obviously there's negative and bad things on TikTok, and we try to teach our kids about those. If you see somebody on TikTok that says or does something that's wrong, you have to know the difference between wrong and right.
Right.
So, that's kind of the lessons we try to teach our kids. I'm kind of an optimistic to say that, whatever platform there is out there, we can always try to turn it into a good learning tool and a learning process for kids and even adults. Right. So, I try to keep a positive outlook on that.
That's Superintendent Dr. Scott Dewar. Thank you so much, Dr. Dewar.
Thank you, Avery.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.